going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel, and hey, happy Friday. We're here today for another episode of The Lost Lands of Golarion. Today we're heading up where it's super cold, and we're going to talk about the crown of the world. If you've got any requests for this series, as always, throw them in the comments. We'll get right on them. And today, we're happy to announce we have yet another new patron. Today, this episode of The Lost Lands of Golarion was brought to you in part by Patrick McGrath. My friend, thank you so much for your time and support, and for an extra $1. I guess that means I need to come up with a $2 tier reward, because now I have a $2 patron, but we'll address that later. For now, let's dive in. The crown of the world is most likely the least populated of Golarion's continents, but it's certainly not the least traveled. It's covered in glacial ice, and it sits atop the world, funny how that works, and serves as a passage from Tian Sha to Avestan, the most well-known of these passages, known as the Path of Aghanhe. Traders and explorers frequently brave the harsh cold to reach the other side of the world, because this is the shortest path from the Inner Sea region to the Dragon Empires. It's roughly divided into 3 geographical zones, based on climate and distance from the North Pole. From south to north, they are the subarctic outer rim, which borders the more southerly continents, the polar ice cap known as the high ice, and the cold desert surrounding the pole, known as the boreal expanse. The continent's southern borders are the Rhymthirst Mountains, over which lie Avestan and the Wall of Heaven Mountains, depending on what side of the world you're on. Cold seas separate the crown from Casberon and Arcadia. Despite its reputation as a frozen wasteland, the crown holds a vast expanse of rivers, mountains, wetlands, forests, and other biomes. Despite its inhospitable conditions, the crown of the world contains numerous thriving cultures, most notably the Arutaki humans and Snowcaster elves. Most of the crown's people live in isolated communities or tribal confederations. The only centralized nation on the continent is the dwarven kingdom of Zavatengura. As you might expect, monsters such as white dragons, frost giants, wendigos, and remorazes also inhabit the continent. Further, the ice holds the ruins of highly advanced civilizations which predate even Aslant Thassalon or the coming of the Aboleths to Golarion, which presents one of the most perplexing mysteries in the entire world. Legends also tell of the White Legion, an army of frost wights gathered in the crown of the world. Their purpose is unknown, but there are fears that they are in league with Baba Yaga and her witch daughters, and hey, if you don't know who that is, follow this card right up here to be directed way back in this channel's history to a video on Irisen in the Inner Sea region. And frankly, the White Legion legend tracks because all those ice trolls and frost giants that Baba Yaga has at her beck and call, yeah, they came from here. Of course, like all regions in Golarion, the crown of the world has its own real-world equivalent. Here, we're looking at all of the tundra regions surrounding the North Pole, places where, people live despite the fact the wind hurts their face. Northern Russia, northern Canada. Well, I guess Kane could probably tell us more about that, but that's neither here nor there. Yes, I'm baiting you.
It's so cold here!
Basically, anywhere that's super cold most of the time and borders the North Pole, yeah, that's what we're looking at here. Now, if I were to take my adventurers here, and it wasn't Jade Regent, and we weren't crossing the Path of Aghanhe to reach the Dragon Empires, I can think of only one style of campaign to play Tropical Resort. Yeah, no, everybody's freezing to death. It's going to be so cold that Endure Elements becomes ineffective because some powerful snow spellcaster's magic, because Endure Elements is the easiest way to cheat around places like the Crown of the World, and it lets you play with terrain that in other parts of the world you don't often get to see. Though, of course, they say that there's several biomes that exist out here, and I'm sure that's true. The farther north one goes, the more snowier and snowier it becomes. We're looking at snow blindedness, avalanches, ice that may become more thin in the more southern reaches during the warmer months, an inability to find food, frostbite, all that super fun stuff. That's what's going on here. Games of attrition, games of survival, games of resource management are a lot of fun, and the Crown of the World is a great place to have one of those games. But what do you guys think about this place? Have you ever adventured in the Crown of the World? maybe in Jade region, maybe in something else entirely. Are you as curious as I am now about that lost civilization under the ice? And hey, maybe will we see more of the Crown of the World in Doomsday Dawn? You guys have 3 days to follow this card right up here to enter in our Doomsday Dawn giveaway, because 6 lucky subscribers are playing that first ever Pathfinder playtest adventure right here on the channel. Remember, patronage at any tier grants you an extra entry in the giveaway, and hey, if we can get Patreon up to about $300 a month, I'll run 2 groups through. Anywho, that's all we've got for today. As always, thank you guys so much for your time. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. We're gonna let this series sit for now, because I think I've hit pretty much everywhere. I guess I could go back to Aslant and maybe spoil a little of the Ruins of Aslant adventure path. But for now, by request, we're gonna go across the Crown of the World. The next episode that you'll see live on Friday will be our Dragon Empires series, and we're starting with Minkai. It drops next Friday.